we lack that because we're in a society that I want it out and the immediate gratification. And then we look at our social media, it's like, oh, so-and-so just bought new wheels, so-and-so just bought a new car, so-and-so just bought a new house, so-and-so bought a second house, so-and-so bought a second project. And so you, in the back of your head, you're like, man, I must not be doing something right, or what is it? Alright everyone, welcome back to another drive-in talk here in Automotive Anatomy. And today's topic I wanted to discuss is patience. And patience is, you know, they always say patience is a virtue, and I think I did not understand it back when I was younger, but now as I get older, I really get it. Not just patience when it comes to, you know, like let's say trying to get something that you want. For instance, for me, I've learned to develop patience when it comes to material stuff that I wanted, delaying pleasure type of thing. I found that let's go with car parts. And yeah, I'm not wearing a hat today. I purposely did it. I cut my hair by myself, and I like the way it was looking. But anyways, super sidetracked. The delaying of pleasure, I feel like it goes a long way. Obviously, there has to be a balance. You can't be delaying pleasure every single time and not upgrade or reward yourself, especially if you've been working for something very diligently and hard for a couple days, weeks, years, whatever it be. But I do believe that having patience can go a long way. And so when it comes to like car parts, let's say, the wheels that I have, the Mugen M7 wheels, I want to say it took me about 6 months to finally pull the trigger. And it was a lot of telling my wife at the time, yeah, were we married? Yeah, we were married already. And I really want these wheels, and she would say like, well, buy them, you know. Like, well, I don't know, they're very expensive, and I'm okay with buying things for other people, just not for myself. I've always been like that. I don't know, I have the mentality where like, oh, I can use this money for something else. And so it took about 6 months to be able to purchase those wheels, and I'm glad that I waited, in the sense of I didn't buy any other type of wheels in between. I'm glad that I spent the money that I did, because the execution of the wheels, the style of the wheels, they're superb, and I really like them. And I bought them for me, not because of the cool points. I knew they were, you know, M7s, whatever, but I honestly, when I bought them, I didn't know how heritage or pristine they were. I just knew I liked them, and then those specs. So since I don't know how to rebuild wheels, I just thought it would have been like a, you know, plug and play type of situation. Now I know it's getting loud, so let me pull it up. So that's the reason I bought those wheels, and I feel like patience played a big role in that part, just because I was able to get what I really wanted and not sacrifice and not compromise getting another wheel that might be cheaper and getting it sooner, and not being 1,000% happy with the finish of the wheel and just things like that. Now, yeah, obviously I cracked the wheels down the road a couple of times, but it was because of how low I was, you know, driving and the type of the size of the tires that I was getting. So that's besides the point. But you know, either way, I still got a wheel that I'm very happy, and I don't really see myself parting ways with it. And if I do, it's because I completely I have another set of wheels that I really like. I don't know. But when it comes to their stuff in just real life application, when it comes to patience, I listen to a lot of Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, and one of the things that they mentioned was, you know, having patience, it doesn't mean that you just sit there and not do anything. Like, it means that you continue working on whatever the case may be. I'll give you guys another personal example. Is obviously you guys know that I'm unemployed, but it doesn't mean that I'm sitting on my ass just okay, this is how life is. No, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't file for unemployment. I don't believe in that, even though between my wife and I, they were taking $5,000 away when we were employed full time. They were taking about $5,000 from our paycheck. And I know that went into unemployment. So you may ask, well, you're a dumbass. How come you don't apply for unemployment? I have this, again, it's a personal thing. I have this sense of mentality where like, well, I wasn't laid off and I wasn't fired. I quit from my job and I walked away from it. And there's people that really need it, people that really got laid off, and people that have family. And I have my savings. I don't need to do that. But if God forbid there's a day that I do need it, I will definitely apply, and I will definitely seek the government's help. The same thing with food stamps. Life gives you circles, and so I'm never to put anybody down if they're using welfare or whatever the case may be, because you just never know where life takes you, and you might be in that situation. Now, I know myself that if I ever needed those type of services, I will work my ass off to get out of them, because that's not a long-term plan that I would want to put for myself. And so the way I'm practicing patience is I'm applying to different jobs, but not just any jobs. Like, I'm not willing to go and work at a far place just so I can have the title again. Might as well I would have stayed where I was. It was 2 hours away from where I live, from where I want to live. So that'd be stupid for me to take on another, hour and a half or 2 hour commute to a similar situation just to be able to say, oh, I panicked and I needed a job again. No. At the same time, I have the patience enough to say, I don't mind working. I started working in the school district as a custodian, and now I have a master's degree. I give two shits what people think about me. Like, oh, would you work as a custodian again? Hell yeah, I would work as a custodian again if I need to work there, and that's gonna take me to whatever next step is. It's like, I think that's the fear of a lot of people. Like, they start something, they think that is forever. It's like, no, that's goes back to patience. Like, it's not forever unless you want it. Unless, if I was to sit here and I'd be like, well, these are the boxes that I want in my perfect counseling job or perfect whatever job, and they must be all checked in or fulfilled, then I'm gonna have a harsh reality. Like, no, like, there's very unlikely that you're gonna find a job that provides you with all the boxes that you want. Now, if 7 out of 10 boxes are fulfilled, then I think that's a pretty good gig. And even then, like, you might find that those other 3 are really meaningful, and these 7 are not fulfilling, and you need to walk away. You need to be able to, have the patience to say you are gonna find something, you will execute. And so, to me, when people want to talk about, patience is good, but you gotta go and execute, I agree. But at the same time, it's about learning when and how to execute. When you're building a car, let's say, I'll give you guys an idea. There's 1,000,001 cars that I want. Just no surprise. TSX, Lotus, Mitsubishi, whatever. I could just go and buy something. I guess, quote unquote, I do have enough money to go and get myself a car from a dealership and be okay with payments for the next year without even working. For what? For me to be now pressured into getting a job regardless of, the things that I'm looking for. And again, if you're in that situation, that's your way of living. Like, you can always make a change. And if you appreciate it, you like it, then keep at it. Whatever makes you happy. Ultimately, it's whatever makes you happy. And so, when I listen to Jim Rohn and Tony, and they say, they both have a similar story. They came from a sense of, I don't have that much money, and I don't have that much sense of encouragement from certain people. And so their mission was to help people. And not that I'm saying that I'm a Tony Robbins or anything like that, but I am thinking that this driving talks, if some of you guys think that I do it because it's a way for me to put other people down or whatever you want to believe that. I know that most of the people that respond to these videos, and when they DM me, is like, man, that talk really helped. Because at the end of the day, it's like, there's so much negativity going on in the world that it's good to come in, chime in, listen to something positive, and then go and execute. Like I mentioned, there's so many people doing amazing things that do not get any credit. For instance, Anonymous Garage. He's a dude that has a YouTube channel. He's a dude that has he's trying to grow a clothing brand, Authentic, and just to see the level of work that he puts in, the shout outs, shipping things. My guy, he's having patience, but I know it can get difficult. Like, continue to have patience, man, because you're just one person away from shouting you out, and all of a sudden your company's cool. All of a sudden your clothing has been cool. All of a sudden it brings attention, and you're like, well, I've been working here for for the past 2-3+ years. But you need to continue to have patience, because it will happen. You just don't know when or how. And that's the thing that with our buddy Gabe with his clothing brand. He continues to grow and will continue to grow, but he needs to have patience. It doesn't mean that they're like, Anonymous Garage and Rival Give. It doesn't mean that they're sitting on their ass. And by the way, they both have families. They're both executing in other ways. They're having to make time for the things that are important to them. And so, if you are sitting or thinking, or wherever you're listening to this video, and you're thinking, oh, this is the very first video you ever saw on the channel, and you're thinking like, damn, like things are not going well for me, or they're just not popping off, especially these times, I'm gonna tell you the truth, honest, is everybody that you know, for the most part, about 80-90% of the people were quote unquote nobodies until they got discovered. Justin Bieber was singing outside of whatever, and they got discovered through YouTube. I personally have seen so many other street bands and singers that are way more talented. I mean, 1,000% more talented than your Beyonce, than your Nicki Minaj. Even though she's pretty good lyrically, she's pretty good, right? But you know what I mean? Like, these new artists are coming up that you're like, really? But in their own genre, they're successful because they put in the work, they work their ass off, and then now we know who they are. Nicki Minaj was probably somebody way before Nicki was. She was grinding it out. So even then, I can't take any credit away from her, even though I may not like her music or her style. You gotta give it to them. They're still working at it. Travis Scott, I have no idea what he sings or how he sings, but I know that he's famous. But again, I'm sure he was buzzing his ass off before that, and had they not been patient, had they quit before, had they listened to their people, they wouldn't be where they're at. And there's a lot of them. Obviously, there's a lot of football players who we're never gonna know who they are, because they lack patience. They lack that sense of self-structure. Like, for instance, I'll give you guys a nice example. Some of you guys want to grow, let's say, a YouTube channel, but you also want the brand new cars or the new clothes. And I don't know why, including myself, sometimes we're quick to go buy, like, car parts. Sure, $500 here. I just want the car part. But if I was to say, hey, how about you invest those $500 in a YouTube channel that you really want to start? You kind of hesitate. Well, I don't know, man. It's a lot of money, and I don't have money at the moment. How do you want things to work out if you're not investing in yourself as much as you're investing on other shit, right? And again, just ultimately, don't make excuses if something doesn't go. And so to those that are putting in the work, to those that are continuing to push themselves, continue to have patience. It's not that your product is bad. It's just maybe you haven't hit that big breakout. Again, some of you guys have been following this journey. Funk's Leak Master, I think. I can't remember the Instagram. He hit me up. He's like, hey man, I actually I subscribed to you after your third video that you uploaded. I knew good things were coming from this channel, and I'm like, holy shit, that was 2 years ago. So thank you so much. That was on my cell phone and selfie stick days, and the fact that he subscribed back then and he's still subscribed, that says a lot to me. It says that I am on the right path. I am doing the right things that I need to do. On a personal level, I already achieved the goal that I wanted, which was to meet a lot of people, and I have met a lot of people, and it's wonderful. But to you, maybe your goal is to make sales or to spread awareness about something. I don't know what it is. I've come across so many different people that hit me up on DMs via, I found your YouTube channel and this is what I'm working on. I can't remember the guy's name or his channel, but he's a salesman from Hawaii, and he has a Lotus, and I can't remember, but he has a YouTube channel, you know, and so how crazy is that somebody in Hawaii is hitting me up about this is what I'm working on, and before that I would have never found his channel. So the internet's huge, guys and ladies. The internet's huge. There's enough room for everybody. I read something on Instagram that said, you know, when you see somebody do better than you, you get mad. When I see somebody do better, I get motivated. Let's be honest, you know, there's a lot of people that are not going to be cheering for you. So you have to cheer for yourself, even when you feel like no one else. The reality is, no one's out to get you. You just gotta keep working. You gotta keep working, and you just gotta get quote unquote discovered. And sadly, people don't care about your story until you make it. That's just the way our society is, and that's the way our society has been wired. Tell me and talk to me, and I'll listen to you when you actually do quote unquote something, or when the numbers on social media says that you're doing something. In reality, that doesn't mean anything, but to society, that's what it means, you know. Travis Scott wouldn't be anybody if we don't play him in the radio, and that happens to a lot of different people. Once we start paying attention to them, they become just another human being, like we all are. But you know, it's whatever brings attention, and so I understand that these videos will not bring a lot of attention, but I can tell you that just having these conversations with you guys and me listening to Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn and all these different motivational speakers about patience, it definitely does help, because there's days that I'm like, okay, what am I going to do with my career? What am I going to do with YouTube? What am I going to do with my personal life and my family? And ultimately it comes down with keep moving, but don't overestimate what you can do in 1 week, and don't underestimate what you can do in 1 year, and the other way around. Don't underestimate what you can do in 1 week, and don't overestimate what you can do in 1 year. And I think that's part of the problem, that we have this mentality like, oh, I want this goal by this time, and then it's not an achievable goal. I want 1,000 subscribers in a week. Okay, yeah, it has happened, and it does happen to other people, but maybe it won't happen to you. So then you don't make it, and then you feel disappointed, and you feel like quitting. And it's like, well, no, you have a great product. You just have to expand your goals and be patient. But we lack that because we're in a society that I want it now, and the immediate gratification. And then we look at our social media, and it's like, oh, so and so just bought new wheels, so and so just bought a new car, so and so just bought a new house, so and so bought a second house, so and so bought a second project. And so you, in the back of your head, you're like, man, I must not be doing something right, or what is it? Let me go ahead and try it out. And so we lack patience. And so again, for those of you who are building something, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Poshmark, selling, trying to be a motivation speaker, be a rapper, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anything blank, apply this. Growing a business, you just have to be patient. Be patient and be grateful for the process. Once you focus on the process and not the long term or the big numbers or whatever the milestone you want, then you start being appreciative of what's coming and the people you're meeting and the process. So patience is a big key, and being grateful. For me, like I said, when I bought the wheels M7s, now I'm like, cool, I'm glad I waited. The channel continues to grow. I already met my goal. I can be dead honest with you guys. I already met my goal, which was to meet people. Anything from this point on has been a bonus and will continue to be a bonus. But I'm still patient. Like any goals that I have for my vision board, like I mentioned, the Watch and Talk, I still have my goals, and I'm gonna be patient about it. But it doesn't mean that I'm sitting on my ass not doing anything. And you know, just to finish this video, just to give you guys an example of what I mean being patient is, it's a Monday already, right? So Monday, and right now it's about 11, I want to say 11 in the morning. It's pretty hot. What I'm gonna do is this. I woke up. Well, I'm gonna go walk after this, but anyways, I woke up, went out to walk with my wife and Chubbs, came back home, finished doing all the behind the scenes on the Celica video that I'm gonna upload. Uploaded it, did a thumbnail, did all the description, you know, commercials, whatever, all the behind the scenes. I did that. I scheduled it. Then I was like, well, what do I do while this one's uploading to YouTube? I went back to my editing. I got the behind the scenes for the 240s that I did an interview. So I'll be doing the 240 interviews, and I did the behind the scenes. And that one's exporting as we speak. So when I go back home, that one's gonna go and upload to YouTube. My wife, my lovely wife, did breakfast for us. And so I had breakfast, but that one's uploading. Right now went up, and I was like, okay, let me see what I can do. I gotta go do some driving talks. My wife is cleaning, and then I'm gonna go and take a walk in some hills, just because I need to exercise. All that before 12, and it's like, oh, by the way, I forgot, I applied to 2 counseling jobs, and yeah, only 2 counseling jobs. So I applied to 2 jobs already this morning. Shit, what a wonderful way to start my week. And so that's just one little thing. That's just half a day. Now what am I gonna do for the rest of the day? And I did feel like going and sitting and just, I felt a little sleepy, but I was like, well, what are you doing? Like, get your ass up, go do stuff. And so here I am. And I felt like patience was definitely the conversation that I wanted to have with you guys, because I do like patience at times. Like, I haven't got hired, I haven't got this, I haven't got that, blah, 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 blah. I haven't got my build car, my project car, blah, blah, blah. Hell no. Stay the course, be patient, and be grateful for the process. As always, we go for the car, we say for the person. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I cannot stress how much I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. Time to go walk. Run. Done with the run, as you guys can tell. Pretty good. Get it.